Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Tom Stewart here. I'm with Aja Holiday. Our guest today is Ellie Mason, and this is MaidCentral Partner Profiles. Got it right
And
that time.
you did. In my head, I said, and this is smart business moves. As if I was the one doing it. I do it every time in my head. I'm glad you're the one that does it.
Said that a time or two more. Hey, Ellie, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you, Tom?
Awesome. Here, starting our week out on a Tuesday. It's always a bit weird when it's a 4-day work week.
Throwing me off a bit. I was like, oh my gosh, I have so much time for all these things I need to do. Just kidding. Nope. I lost the day. It's gone.
Yeah, I feel that.
Awesome.
So,
Do you guys close for Labor Day?
Yes, we were closed for Labor Day, and I had a birthday over the weekend too. So,
Oh, happy
I
birthday.
thank you. So I actually took the entire 3 days off.
oh,
Wow.
Well, I'm going, why'd I do that? But I needed it.
very good.
So,
There's always more time.
yeah, you think so? So one thing you can't get back. So
Very true.
So here on MaidCentral Partner Profiles, we take the opportunity to speak to our partners companies that use MaidCentral, and Ellie Mason, your company, Echo Clean Ellie's, is one of those. And we just want to talk a little bit about your experience, and we'll talk about a lot of things. But before we get into that, we have a live event in September, and if I don't mention it now, I'm going to forget about it. So I'm going to show this really quick.
Are you coming to that one, or were you the one that I was talking to about?
no, we went
You
to
came
one
once.
last year, and it was way too soon. And I brought my entire office staff. So
Well, I think you guys still got a good handle of it, even though it was soon. I think that it still helped out nonetheless.
yes, absolutely.
My browser is completely goofed up. Can you show MaidCentral.academy, Aja? And I'll.
Yep.
This is MCA Live event that we've done. What is this? The 10th time we've done it?
10th or 11th. Yeah.
11? At least 10, 9 times before, maybe 10 times before. We're doing it in Charleston. It's a 3-day event now, September 25 through 27. And it's a 3-day event that does a deep dive into some of the functionality that MaidCentral offers that allows you to just go beyond scheduling homes and cleaning them to actually generate more profit, to lower your payroll to revenue, to get better pricing, to extend lifetime value of customers, basically drive your 12 core KPIs in the direction that you want to make them go. The green number is up, the red number is down. We have a little bit on here about the agenda, I believe. Benchmarking. We'll share with participants who are MaidCentral partners their core KPIs and how they stack up against the entire MaidCentral community. This isn't just for MaidCentral partners, though. We typically have some companies come here that think they might want to be, or they just want to know more about how to use data to run their business. And we give them some general numbers, and they get a lot of value out of it as well. We get into marketing, sales, payroll on the second day. Oh, and we give everybody a test environment with their live MaidCentral data. It's not live data, but it's a duplicate of their live data. It looks like they're in their own instance of MaidCentral, but you can do stuff without messing anything up in production. If you're not a MaidCentral partner, we give you a database, a test environment with test data in it to kind of follow along as well. So we'll be doing a lot of hands-on in these classes, actually doing the stuff in MaidCentral that you would do to make it happen in the real world. What do we do on day 3, Aja? This is kind of the whole culmination of 3 days of hard work.
Yeah, so we do a really good action plan on the last day that we pretty much take everything that we've learned over 3 days and we come up with all the activities that we can do to improve those KPIs and come up with an action plan altogether. So we take some things out of Toolbox, where we take our growth comparison forecaster and you plug in your KPIs and you say, well, what if I improved my payroll percent to revenue by 10% based off of what it is right now? What would that look like in my business in a year? How much would that impact my business in a year? And so we take that, we build out all the activities together, we brainstorm all together. It's a very interactive session, and it takes it's a full half day that we work on building this action plan for everybody, so that they can take we give them a big sheet of paper that says, hey, these are the 3 KPIs I'm going to work on over the next 3 months. And I know the impact that these KPIs are going to have on my business because they've used Toolbox. So it's a really fun one. Like Tom said, this is our 10th or 11th time doing it, and I still feel like we get so much out of it every time.
So, we have a few spots left. It will fill out, sell out. It always does. But if you haven't attended one of these before, if you have and want to do a refresher or come to the 3-day format, if you've never done that, like I said, a few spots left. Go ahead and jump in.
I wish I would have waited. I'm glad that you have the 3 months of operation requirement now, because it was just I probably need to come back.
We'll have a few spots left.
Well, it's definitely selling, so you could come. I think that we've had people coming multiple times in recent months, over the last little bit of doing this. We started to see more people coming a second time and even a third time. It's a great thing to just revisit once a year. If you haven't gotten into a really good annual planning, routine, this can help a lot in sort of like bursting forward that annual planning sort of mental space. You know, it's a hard time to like step out of the business and be like, okay, what are we going to do for the next year? What are we going to work on? Or even the next quarter? What are we going to work on? What are we doing? What are we outside of the whirlwind of day-to-day activities?
When is the next one after this one?
We don't know yet.
Okay. I may try to hit that one up, but
most likely it'll be next year.
Probably in January, yeah. Yeah, this will probably be the last one for 2024, unless we get a wild opportunity that allows us to do one in October. But otherwise, we've got convention in November, which we're really excited about. Tom and I are both speaking there, so we've got that one coming up, and then December, nobody can do anything in December. That's just not going to happen. So we usually wait for the new year.
So,
Ellie, how did you wind up in the house cleaning business?
Well, this is kind of a funny story. My mother and my aunt used to clean when I was younger. They weren't a business. They were just solo independent cleaners. And I would help them like in the summertime sometime. And then in 2020, when COVID hit, I was working as a machine operator, and I had just had surgery. So I was on FMLA, and I ended up not going back to that job because it was just not something that I loved. So I put an ad on Facebook, like a free Facebook site that has like 38,000 members in our community, and I told them what the name of the company, what my mom and my aunt called themselves, which was hilarious. They called themselves 2 hags and a bag of rags. So yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's one of the best names I've heard.
So yeah.
No, just wait a second. We need to dwell on this. I've been doing this for a long time, and I've heard a lot of names. That's a contender for the best. I'm almost afraid to repeat it, but awesome.
Oh
man, do they ever get of like, are you one of the hags?
My mom and my aunt, both of them are deceased, unfortunately, but no. And I actually thought about adapting that as my name, but I'm like, no. But boy, I tell you what,
Good choice.
When I got on that Facebook post and I put the name of what they went by, of course, it was hard to forget that name. So people remembered. And so I just got in and just started cleaning on my own, and then ended up getting a few larger contracts with some builders here in town, and then just started a company by accident.
That's not the story that we hear very often. I started a company by accident. I didn't mean to do that.
I did not. But then when it got to the point where we're making, I had 1099 employees, I ended up joining a coaching program and learned how to build my business model, and just kind of accidentally started a company. And then about a year later, we had W-2 employees, and it's just been a learning experience ever since. And I like it.
I love that. So your business is only about 4 years old?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're
That's
only 4 years
awesome.
old. Yeah.
And you truly started from scratch at zero.
Yeah. I had just some dollar. I think I spent $62 on cleaning supplies at Dollar Tree. And then I made a post on Facebook because we're in the college area and kids throw out their stuff all the time. So I just made a post, hey, don't throw your cleaning products away. I'll pick them up. And I did. And I went around and picked up a bunch of stuff, and then put another post on Facebook, said, I need 20 people to come clean with me. And we did a bunch of move outs for the university and things like that. And then I eventually moved more into the residential, and that's our bread and butter now. So
that's awesome. That's a really cool story, actually. I love that.
Thank you.
I love that idea of grabbing college students, throwing out cleaning supplies. That's genius.
Yep. I'm resourceful when I need to be.
Unfortunately, too many of those college kids don't have any cleaning supplies.
Oh, they do. You'd be surprised. They do have them, but then they're all brand new because they never used any.
They never used them.
Yeah. Not even opened, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's hilarious. I don't think I use my cleaning supplies very much in college either, so can't blame them too much.
Fortunately, we do not do student move outs anymore. So
you got to the place to avoid those. That's nice.
Yeah, we don't. We turn down there's a certain like 4-block area that is in the do not service area. So because I know how those homes are, they're 200-year-old homes that have 6 guys living in them with 2 bathrooms, and yeah, it's not fun.
2 bathrooms if you're lucky. It's usually 1 bathroom shared across five young men.
So, yep, that's how we started. And, now we're here and not going anywhere.
So when you kind of got into the business, you said that you started with ICs, with independent contractors, and then moved to W-2 employees. How many technicians do you have now?
Right now we have 7. Okay. 7 full-time technicians. 7 full-time and 1 part-time.
Awesome. And do you run solos or teams?
We run solos mostly, unless it's a big job. A big job, then we'll do 2, sometimes 3, depending on the size of the job.
Love that. I'm a big fan of solos, so you're doing good work.
Yeah. I kind of started the commission before I got knew what I was doing, and I wasn't doing it right, but I know I do it right now.
Perfect. I was going to ask, did you ever consider doing teams of 2, or did you always want to do solos? What kind of went that way?
As we are growing, I'm thinking that we are going to probably move into a team situation, because we're getting a lot of larger homes. And in order for us to service more homes, then I think teams are going to be needed on these larger areas. So yeah, and then it'll also, we're always hiring, and just trying to keep the ones that are good. But I have a really solid team right now. All I have is A players. So, and everybody's been with me at least 6 months. I have one of my techs has been with me since we started.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So with a larger homes, you're thinking teams. There's a couple variations of that. One is you have everybody show up at the office in the morning and you pair them up, or the other is you have basically 2 solos drive to a home at the same time.
Yeah, that's how we do it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Now, if we ended up putting that like on a weekly schedule, now that we're getting more homes, I would have them meet at the office. And then
you could still have them just meet at the house. That works. It saves them time. It saves you time. It does,
improves your efficiency and improves your payroll to revenue. It does a lot of things.
Yeah, there's a lot of benefits for that. Since you're already in solos, I think that there's a lot of really good ways to kind of hybrid it a little bit without giving up the benefits that solo kind of comes with.
Yeah, I was like looking at also the allowed hours and, kind of, but I thought about doing that, but I was like, I don't think that my technicians that are here would be real happy about that.
Do you pay fee split right now, or do you pay hourly?
Yeah, we pay fee split 40,
Okay.
42, and 44.
Okay, interesting.
Were you doing that before you started using MaidCentral?
Yes, when I first started, I went with Jobber, and then I was with Jobber and I liked Jobber. And then I knew that we were and then I had heard a few friends of mine that had switched to you guys. And so I knew that we were going to make the leap eventually, but I didn't know quite when. So we were with Customer Factor for a while just because it was really inexpensive. And then we ended up going with you guys, and I couldn't be happier. And I've had people, can get a hold of me and like, oh, you need a CRM. I'm like, I'm really happy with the program I have. And with everything that it's doing, we're done. We're staying with you guys. I mean, that's just moving to another CRM is a nightmare. And I don't think that it's something that I want to put on my schedule.
Well, and also I just don't know if there's any other like dedicated to house cleaning industry that's built for scalability, right? I think that's what we see from those other softwares that you've looked at, those being just scheduling softwares, and MaidCentral being production planning, just software, just all around production, all things production related, not just scheduling, right? You get so much more out of it than others would. So I think you learned that early.
Yes. Well, I knew we were still a little bit small to be starting with you guys, but that's why I did it the way I did, is because I wanted to have it in one place and just grow from there, because I knew with partnering with you that we would be growing, and we have. Now I'm trying to learn about a year later that I have to learn MaidCentral myself, not instead of my office manager. And I'm deep diving into it and making the changes that I want to make, and I'm really enjoying it.
But you have at least one full-time person in the office.
Oh yeah, I have a full-time office person, and then I have a scheduler that works from home. So I have two office support.
But
awesome.
We find that typically if you've got like one full-time person in the office, it doesn't really matter how big you are. I mean, there's some other things, because a lot of times it's a matter of making changes in your business and being willing to implement the features that make the biggest difference. But a small company, as long as they've got somebody in the office, we've seen that happen time and time again, where they've done it and
right.
Value.
And that's what we have done recently too, is that we will go into our current customer database and make more revenue from our current customers already, and run email campaigns and text campaigns and things like that. So we did hard into that. And so it's raised our revenue just by implementing things like that. We don't have the market spend that we would necessarily have. And I'm getting away from Google because it's so unpredictable, and it's just the cost per click is just ridiculous at this time. So we're thinking outside the box marketing, and so we're doing more asymmetrical marketing. So yeah.
I love some of the things that you just said. I want to point out, right, that you're capitalizing on your current customer base. That's huge, right? You've acknowledged that your current customer base is already there, right? You don't have anything extra that you have to do. You already have them. So all you have to do is really make the most out of what you already have. And then the other one was, I mean, we've already determined, considering you started your business by picking up free cleaning supplies from college students, that you're an out of the box thinker.
Yes.
But yeah, definitely looking at different styles of marketing for this industry it's huge. And I think that we found that, Google is king in advertising right now, but maybe it's not the only option. I think that's really awesome. I really love that you're already noticing that.
Yes, Amy, that you hear some more plan. So yes, that is one of the software programs that we use, is WarPlan. So
okay.
Yeah.
So do you have a standalone office you're working out of, or is all your office remote? Just the one person's remote?
No, we have an office. We've actually on our second office. The first one was a good deal, but then it was not a good location. And then we wanted to get out of there. And so we've been at the current office that we have for a little over a year, right out a year. And we're going to be here for a while. I really love the location. We're actually getting a new Whataburger right next door to us. It's the first one in Lawrence. So I'm getting one of those noodles out and then plastic and stuff. I'm gonna have technicians out there going, handing out things, going to the cars, because I mean, there's some more marketing right there that doesn't really cost much at all. So yeah, we're going to do that. We've been implementing a lot of like networking. Networking is huge for us. And then, a lot of our base clientele has been with us for a long time. So our recurring customers generally don't leave. Now, lately it's been a little bit iffy because of the climate of the world, which is, but we're rising above our attrition rate. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was looking at your customer numbers, and there's definitely been growth, but decent consistency on it. So, yeah. I mean, nothing crazy. It doesn't look like you're shrinking by any means, which is great. That's where we want to see at least outbalancing it. But yeah, you're on top of it. I love this. You're definitely focusing on the right things. It's great.
I'm definitely a visionary, so I think into the future. So I want to get everything implemented now, and we've gone a very kind of high tech in our software programs, but once they all talk to each other finally and we get it all done, it's going to be seamless. But it's probably till the end of the year before we get it all done, because we made some big changes.
We talk a lot about growth versus scale, just at MaidCentral events and just in general in this industry, that you've got, you can hit growth, and growth looks like more customers, more technicians, more work, right? And then scaling is the operations kind of behind that. And it sounds like you've already scaled your operations to handle more. And that's almost like the opposite of what we typically see in this industry. Usually people hit growth and then they hit that scale wall where they've run right into it, and they're like, well, now we're stuck here while we scale all our processes up so we can get over this wall. Like you're like 2 steps ahead on your scalability, especially having MaidCentral,
right?
And having the support staff to handle a little bit more too. I think that's really cool that as soon as you hit that growth moment, you're ready to go. You're ready to hit the ground running.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way things are going, and just kind of slow and steady wins the race. And like we started by accident in 2020 when people were just handing money out. They weren't saying no. So we have had to. That's what I'm working on right now in MaidCentral is we're dialing our prices back a little bit, because we've noticed that the way things are right now in the economy, that we're not closing as many leads, because we are the most expensive cleaning service in our area. And so the average, we do comparison shopping all the time and calling competitors, and the average rate in my town is like $40 an hour. And I'm like, I don't understand how these companies are making any money, but they're paying hourly, and they're running, like, they have company vehicles and things like that. And also the average wage in this town is only $12.50 an hour.
Oh, so you're just able to like destroy them.
Yeah.
Your average price per home has gone up a lot since you started using MaidCentral.
Yeah. Well, we played with the everything, like, let's raise it until they say no. And then it got to the point where they're saying no too much. So now we need to go in and kind of make some adjustments and change it so we can get more yeses. And I've been on with other partners, and they've showed me that, like, their setup and how they're doing things. It makes a lot more sense to me. So we're rolling out a lot of new features. And as far as like booking and options, and also I'm learning how to, like, I want to know MaidCentral like the back of my hand. When I had Jobber, I did, and I couldn't. If I went in now, I wouldn't know, but I want to know it, so that way I can train it easier, and then that way I can eventually step out of the day-to-day operations. But I'm not in any hurry. Like I said, I'm a very new company, but our brand is good, our reputation is good, our work life is good, our culture is good. So we don't have anything anywhere but to go but up. So, and I think once I start doing more advertising and everything that I'm doing right now, that people will start knowing about us, because we get a lot of calls here lately. They're like, we didn't even know you guys were here. And, we won best of our city for the last 3 years. But that's just a small area. That's not like the whole big picture. So yeah, we're doing well. I'm pretty happy with everything.
Very nice.
But you don't want to dial your rates back too much.
No, we didn't. We did it like $5.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like to work in $2.5 increments on the hourly rate.
Yeah. And that's just because we're all our, and honestly, we have customers that have been with us for 3 years that are already paying like $70 an hour per clean or more. And we got them on the high end and they just haven't changed. So
that's awesome though. I mean, that's the direction that everybody needs to go, at least getting towards that rate. I definitely, you mentioned that your competitors are all at that 40 rate, and that's not sustainable.
No.
Like, it's just, especially now.
I don't know how they do it. I mean, unless they're running independent contractors, I don't know.
Well, there's a lot of people that are cleaning a lot of homes, but not necessarily making any money doing it. I mean, that's an important distinction to Aja's earlier point, growth versus scale. Scale goes beyond just, how much top line revenue you're generating, and really gets into, are you getting optimal pricing for every job? And are you getting your payroll percentage revenue down as part of that? And are you controlling your other operating costs in a way where you can clean fewer homes? I mean, we've got models and toolbox that will show you, how you can do a rate increase, wind up cleaning fewer homes and still making more money, which is a really cool place to be.
Yeah, I lowered it just the $5 because like our quote to sale was just really low, and then we haven't been getting them. And then since we just did that price shopping comparison, I was like, man, that no wonder. Like, I'd rather lower it a little bit right now and still be in the top percentage of our area than have it out there and then it's just we're not closing the leads. And then we also do the online booking. And so what was happening, there was problems with everything, and it was just all messed up. And so people were getting these astronomical wrong quotes for the online. And then, so that's why I've dug into it and done it a little lower.
That's why I've seen you a little bit more the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Well, I love that. I really love that you noticed that something wasn't working the way that you wanted it to, and that you were able to hop right into the quoting tool calls and the partner success calls and just be like, something is wonky, help me out a little bit. Like, I think that's been great. And you're doing, I mean, even just, we met last week, you did some changes. We came in today, we did some changes. I'm sure we'll have a couple more in a week or so, but it's still like you're making really good changes and like acknowledging what wasn't working, what is working, and like still being the higher price option in your area is not a bad thing. You never want to be the cheapest. You never want to be conspicuously cheap, right?
Right.
Like, that's the thing.
You
One of those words that
extremely expensive.
Yes, I love that phrase so much.
Yes. Well, and it says we're the only one in our area also in Lawrence that offers online booking too. We got 5 online bookings over the weekend, over the 3-day weekend. So we had to juggle that in our schedule.
So
that's awesome though. I mean, especially being the only one in the area, you're catching all the me's.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that you'd be the only company that she would consider using.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I do not talk to people to buy my services.
Yeah, that's how it is. And that's the trend with like these younger kids. The millennials are having some money and so and they don't like to talk to people. They don't. So I've had pushback from other business owners in my chamber and everything saying, well, don't you think that it's just impersonal? And I'm like, well, we're still there to talk to the older client that wants to talk on the phone. We're still there, and that we have availability for that. But you're losing out on money every single day if you don't have the online booking option, because there are a lot. I'm one of those people. If I can book online and I don't have to talk to you, you got my sale already. I don't care. I will pay more money for convenience.
That right there. I will pay more money for convenience. is absolutely how millennials think. We are all about
Well, I might be more
convenience.
millennial because that's me, but I think that's probably just from being in the service industry and for this time and just talking to so many people that I want to choose when I want to talk to somebody.
You made that connection. A lot of millennials have worked in service industry for most of their careers. Like that was just pretty much all that was available for us for a really long time. And so it was just like constant service. And so when we get home, we're like, no, I refuse. Don't make me talk to a single other person. I'm so burnt out on talking to people. But no, it's like, I love, conversations in the industry and all of that kind of stuff. Like that's where I shine in conversating. But it's like, no, yes, the professional youngins who
is conversating a word?
Yeah, conversating is a word.
Okay.
Conversing.
I think it's conversing. I don't know if
conversing. Conversating may not be a word, but I made it one. It is.
It could be. It works for me. It is now.
Well, I mean, there's no many other made up words. Why not that one? At least it's a normal one.
I mean, YOLO is in the dictionary. I'm going to say conversating occasionally.
It could be. I don't know. I like it though. That's cool. So, Ellie, online booking, is that a change you made when you adopted MaidCentral?
Yeah, we actually started the online booking right away. We had to work out the kinks and everything, and I'm still, like I said, I'm still going through everything and making sure everything's correct. But I mean, like I said, come home, go or come into work on a Tuesday morning after a 3-day weekend and already have five new jobs on the schedule already without anybody having to talk to anybody or haggle with anybody. I mean, and that's why I want to keep the prices a little bit higher, but I don't want them to be so high that it scares people off.
That's a very good point, because I think that's the thing that people run into sometimes, where they get afraid of what that conversation looks like, right? So it's like, okay, you saw a price online that felt too high. What does the follow-up conversation look like at that point? So
yeah, I don't know, but here's the deal: is we don't discount. There's a lot of people that will discount, and I think that devalues your brand. If you're constantly running like flash sale, 50% off or 20% off or whatever, I think that is not good. That's why we do the internal marketing from our people that we already have leads from, because then we're not out there devaluing. We do the flash sales. We do have last minute sales to try to fill spots, but I'm not going to advertise that on Facebook or on Google about that, because that people will go, oh, well, they're going to run another sale here in about a couple weeks anyway, so I'll just wait till then.
Right.
I love that you just said that. Tom, I'm sure you have something to say about this.
No, it's just the D word. You don't want to, because the flip side of it is, if you want to run promotions, you can do that by adding value, provide, additional services. We'll clean ovens, we'll clean windows, we'll flip mattresses, we'll disinfect something. There's a slew of things that you can add on, put a dollar amount on it, and say this is, some incredible value you're getting. You sign up for bi-weekly service.
Yeah, and then also we don't want the people that are waiting for a discount, because those are not our clients that we want. We want to target a certain type of client, and that's one thing that we have been able to do very easily is with MaidCentral, we can fire clients that are not doing good, because we have all the information in there, and instead of going to other programs or other software to track it, it's all inside MaidCentral, and we have that ability to figure our numbers and everything. So it's really good now that I'm learning how to use all these reports. Now I'm like kind of excited. I guess I'm a nerd. I like that. I like data.
Hey, me too.
No, MaidCentral is designed to presume that somebody wants to be a high frequency recurring customer, and the whole sales process, the whole, getting the site specific, the home specific scope of work, reminders, customer portal, everything is about, our customers get their home cleaned at least every other week, and, they see the value in it, and certainly you would too. And God, how many?
I need to take 3 weeks off the option. I don't think it's available online, because we don't like to do 3-week cleans, but every 3 weeks.
Don't do it.
No.
It messes up the master's schedule.
Yeah, it does.
No.
And then we don't do monthly. We do every 4 weeks. So it's been good. It's been really good. And it's all in one spot. So I think our payroll to revenue is like, for average is like about 44% then that's where I want it to be.
You have some weeks that drop really low. I was looking at this really closely
One
while I
of them
was
went up to
pulling
like
your numbers.
67. I was like, oh my God, what happened that week?
There was a couple of weeks that were in the 30s too. So I think you probably average right around that 40%, which is good because that's what your commission is. So you want to be able to see that commission, that fee split get a little bit, hold things steady. That's the benefit of fee split, is that it helps hold that a little bit steadier. But if you do have some jobs that are paying hourly, that might explain some of that variation across weeks.
Well, and then also I was out for like a month because my sister passed away. So I had somebody else in the office that wasn't doing what they were supposed to be doing. So it's been 2024 has been a rough year as far as office staff goes. My scheduler's been with me for a while, but I finally have a really good one in. Let's cross my fingers. And she kind of knows what to do. She's more of a boss. That's what one of my techs said. They go, she's just kind of a boss. I was like, that's what I want.
she's working her way up to a field manager management type of position, but no, that's great.
Yeah, and then it was inconsistently with like a phone call follow-up, and those things are necessary, I believe, in order to foster like a bond with your clients, is that to follow up, even and try to, now we've got a systems in place, so we actually make phone calls on all the first time ins just to make sure. We started doing like little welcome bags with like a product in them and maybe a brush and then some sponges or whatever, and just a bag that says thank you. And so actually we've seen our recurring business go up a little bit since we started doing that and nurturing our clients a little bit better.
That early nurture time is so important, right? So like the same aspect that, we talk about our technicians, that sticky period is the first 30 to 90 days. Like if you can get them to stick through that period, they're probably going to stick with you for 6 months to a year type thing. For customers, it's the same thing, but because we visit them so infrequently, it's like 5 to 6 cleans, right? That if you can make it to that, really nurture them in that first 5 to 6 clean area, that's when you start to see them sticking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years. They're the ones that stick around for forever. And I do want to say, just as a customer, I did have a cleaning service that I am using up here that sent me a welcome box of stuff. And that is still on my counter. It's been months. It is still on my calendar.
But I mean, people like things. So I mean, it's people like free stuff. So I mean, it's not really free if you think a big picture, because I'm the analytic and I'm like, but it is. I mean,
to me, it was all free.
We also have we started a new service too that will send brownies out after the first time clean. So it's not that expensive at all.
This goes with I heard somebody sending out, they sent out pies every time that somebody had a really bad scorecard, and it was a humble pie that, we were sorry, but we wanted to send you a little humble pie of our apology for, performing poorly on this last clean or whatever it was. But, the way to people's hearts is through their stomach. We know this.
Yeah, we don't get... I don't know. I think our scorecard is pretty good. We've got I think around 100%, like 90 to 100%. But the return lately has been a little lower. I think we only had 19% last week. But a lot of our clients that don't do them every week. Like if we, they just don't feel like it. And then also the one thing that we have been noticing is that we've been getting 4-star reviews on Google, because people think that the 4 stars is the top, and these older people that are going on Google. So actually that's what we're working on at front office next week. It's to call everybody back and say, hey, can you bump that up to a 5? So yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah. That's so weird. That's so funny. Those poor people. Do you have any initiatives to work on improving your scorecard response rate? Is there anything that you're working on there?
Oh yeah. We are actually having an office meeting on Thursday, and there's going to be some contests and some incentives for, getting reviews and, follow behind yourself. But I mean, they usually get a 3 or 4. Some people just never want to leave a 4. It's good. They're just those people that will never say, it's great, we're thrilled. We rarely get 1s, and then, sometimes it's just, you can't please everybody. But I mean, I'm all in all, I don't really monitor the scorecard. Somebody else, my scheduler, does all that. So yeah, so she knows more about that than I do. So she'll have her input. We're going to 10X tomorrow before the meeting on Thursday. So I'll find out tomorrow.
Love that.
Wow.
10X.
A lot
Good
of
stuff.
professional management stuff going on here.
Yeah, I love it.
Were there
love
any other changes that you made as part of implementing MaidCentral?
I mean, there's so many changes that we've made because we're such a new company over the last year, especially, and then with the way that technology is moving so fast these days, it's just like I'm trying to keep up with everything. So I would say that we did stop using like the services like Nice Job and things like that. We did switch over to Go High Level, and we're in the process of building all that out. We're also in the process of building our own phone system, so that way we don't have to do a third-party phone system anymore. But I got a lot of things in the fire right now. I'm just trying not to get too overwhelmed. Some of these are like a year-long goal, but I've got a system that I've got in my dreams, and it's on my goal list, and we'll get there eventually. I don't have any doubt that
Building your own phone system.
I heard that.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be a funnel through Go High Level, and I'm checking into that. And
Okay.
I'm watching the tutorials how to do it, and it's a lot of work though. So, but
you'll let you'll move your phone numbers over to High Level and let them.
they're already in High Level. All my
Okay.
phone numbers are already in High Level. Yeah. So we get all the scorecard responses through there. And as soon as we can get the phone set up, that's why I want to set it up, because I've had a really bad experience in the last 4 years with phone systems. And it's just been horrible. Like, I'm looking for another one. I'm like, well, I'm in a contract. I might as well just build one myself so I don't have to have this problem anymore. And if I need to troubleshoot it, I don't have to wait on the phone or can't get a hold of anybody. I can figure it out myself, what's going on.
Okay.
That is ambitious.
I like a challenge. If someone would have said a year ago that I would be able to know the stuff that I know now, I would have said, oh, what? No, absolutely not. But I'm actually surprising myself with how much I like it. And when I like it, it doesn't seem like work. So might as well do it. So I will say that at my social life,
Yeah.
I don't really care about that right now.
You're like, that time's gone. We're fine. We're in my business building era.
Yeah.
We're fine.
I'm that's where I am at. So, I'm not married, so that doesn't, and my son's grown. So, I mean, I don't have anything else but my cats, and they're in my office with me sometimes. Both of them are here today. So sometimes I'll get on the keyboard. I was like, I wish I could put them on payroll.
Yeah, right. They're getting paid. No, I love that. So especially with this last year, I think that it's showing that, you're talking about all the things that you've learned in the last year, and having started with MaidCentral about just over a year ago, or went live in July last year, I think.
Yeah.
It looks like, it just feels like you've gotten a little bit more time out of, even though you're in daily operations, you're out of the whirlwind of all of the things that are happening day to day. And it's just giving you a lot of space to work on all these different projects. Like, I love that.
Yeah, it is. And I know that if we didn't have MaidCentral, then we wouldn't be in that position, because we wouldn't be able to automate and see everything just straight from MaidCentral, and I like all the changes that you've made. It's been great. And I'm starting to understand why some of the coding takes a little bit longer, and fixing it just doesn't mean getting on AI and picking it. No, I'm starting to understand all that, and I have a greater appreciation for you guys. So
we appreciate that. It takes time.
Before, but now I have an understanding, and I can identify. I'm like, when you say you had a stressful day, now I know what you're talking about.
That's hilarious. No, I love that. Yeah, we work really hard to listen and hear what our users want, but with hundreds of users, we've got to.
Yeah, and your
takes a lot of
great. Yeah,
and future proofing.
Yes, the visionary stuff. And then I'm sure with all of you, you all have a vision for something, and then so you're all thinking, and everybody wants to do everything all at once, and that doesn't happen like that.
Are you sure you weren't a fly on the wall today in one of our offices?
There was an idea that was worthy, but it was, after thinking about it, pursuing it would fix one problem, but would create bigger problems. And
Right.
it's like, we don't want to do
Mhm.
that. So, Aja, are there any KPIs we want to speak to?
Yes, and we have talked about a couple of them, but the first one was your bill per clean has gone up a lot in the last year and brought you right up into the first quartile, like top of the first quartile, actually, bringing that up to $231 and some change for per clean, which is great. Have you been using the rate increase tool, or is that just in some of your early rates?
No, we have been
Early
using
rates.
we have been using the rate increase tool. Yeah. And
What's your
you know,
process? How often do you do that?
every 6 months, we just check and see, like, we audit and see who already is at our price, the price that we want them to be. There's a few that are like test houses, so those will never be raised up. But we have a limitation on how long they can do it. They can only do it for a year, and if they want to go with that, come back with us, then they have to pay the current rate. So
I love that.
but yeah, no, we just like I said, we price pretty high for our area, and it's consistent. And a lot of our early clients that were with us were already paying the rates that we are at now and even above. So yeah, but we're doing it every 6 months. We just raise it.
Were you doing rate increases regularly before MaidCentral?
No, I was not. Well, I was thinking about doing it, and then how I would build out the email and all. No, I was not. Because when we did join up with you guys, I was looking at some of them. I'm like, what? No, we need to fix that. And we did lose a few, but the good thing with MaidCentral has allowed us to do is to be able to have the ability to pay attention to what the market is doing and what the economy in our area is doing. And then I can adjust things according to that. And it's not that hard. I mean, it is tedious, but you have everything that you need right there to know. And then it just makes like,
and you just have to do that every once in a while.
Right.
You know, it's not like a all the time thing. You do your market research, you double check things, and then you're like, all right, yeah, we're still in line. Send out that price increase that takes 3 button clicks if you really just pull it up and do the thing.
And that's another example of scaling versus just growing. You know, it's the easy thing to do is let's just find another home to clean, and we'll discount it if we have to, and we feel like we're moving in a good direction. But what you're doing is creating a ton more value.
I don't have to search for new clients. We do have a lot of one-time cleans just because of our area. So we actually we're in the process of building out a separate schedule for our deep clean staff. And that's probably something I'll get on office hours to talk about.
So when you say just because you're of your area, is there a lot of people moving in and out?
Well, we're in a college town, like Kansas. So we get a lot of, like, we have like students that they'll use us the whole 4 years that they're here. They'll use us the first time and they really liked us. So then next year they'll call us again and say, hey, you moved out last year. Can you do it again? And we get a lot of parents that are calling to make sure that their kids' house is up to par. We actually have a handful. I think it's like 11 that clients that we've just recently gotten that I've noticed this trend that parents are now buying cleaning services for their kids just to
Isn't that nuts?
Yes, it's insane. I was like, what? I mean, and it happened to be like 4 of them were in just one apartment complex. And I was like, yeah, we already talked to so-and-so. And they're like, oh yeah. I was like, we can put you on the schedule if you like. Yeah, they're signing up for biweekly, monthly. One lady wanted a weekly. I was like, okay, sure.
You know what I've wanted to always do is recommend to landlords that they get a quarterly clean in their rentals.
I have a complex that does do that. One that we used to do turnovers for, and they just couldn't. The owner wouldn't take our new price structure. But that was when we first started. She refers us all the time, and she says, "Hey, if you're going to get your place clean, you need to call Echo Clean Alleys." So we do have a lot of word of mouth and referral, and yard signs. We do a lot of that, and I just get on boards and panels and whenever I can and just talk about my business. So I've been doing that a lot more lately, and it's really helped the growth.
Yeah. I think the other side that I was looking at, these last two kind of go together as far as your KPIs go, is your quotes per week doubled in the last year. And I wonder if the online quoting has been a part of that.
Absolutely.
And just, yeah, because it was around 8 and now it's almost 17 from a year ago. And that's crazy. Also considering your business size and how long you've been in business, you're in the second quartile for quotes per week. And I want to say you're right on the cusp of that first quartile with that 17. That's awesome.
Well,
give yourself a pat on the back.
and you're gonna, your top line revenue's gonna grow with that as well. I mean, all the numbers are moving in a good direction.
Right.
And the last one I actually think is really, really closely related, and I actually think this is pretty cool, is that your close rate has stayed consistent, right around 21%. And which is, I only look at close rate to recurring. So I'm not looking at your one-time cleans or anything like that. I only look at the close rate to recurring, quotes to recurring close rate. But considering that you were at 20% with 8 quotes per week, that gives you what, two sales, 1.5 sales?
Yeah, probably, but that's
1.5 sales per week. And then now being at 17 and still holding that 20% close rate means that you've doubled or almost tripled your total sales. We're going from like 1 and a something to solidly 2 sales, 2.5 sales a week. That's awesome.
My plan is I'm expecting to be able to grow. I mean, we are scaling, but I'm expecting to be able to grow at least like 20% in the next year. I'm just waiting for 2024 to get through it and see, what happens with everything that's going on out there. And then we'll go from there. So
yeah.
But I know it's out there. I know we're gonna do it because I mean, that's just me. I don't like to start something and not.
Well, I mean, it shows your customer count has stayed pretty steady. It's had a little bit of growth. We've had about a 10% growth in the last 6 months is what I really looked at for this one. But your average revenue per week servicing the same amount of customers has gone up a lot. I saw that you guys had like a record-breaking week like a month ago.
Yeah, we did. That was a record-breaking check that I had to pay to the government that I just paid today. But yes, we did. I was like, why is it? Oh yeah, that's why. No, we did. I think we had a $10,000 week that week.
Yeah.
We got a little over 10,000.
It was crazy. It had 2 weeks in a row that were significantly higher, but that one for sure, I was like, I think she just had a record-breaking week like a month ago.
We did. We celebrated it too.
Good. I was gonna ask, how'd you guys celebrate?
I took everybody out to eat. We went and had tacos. Yeah,
tacos.
Tacos are the universal love language around here.
Yeah, I love some tacos. So, Ellie, are you familiar with toolbox.maidcentral.com?
No, I'm not. I was writing that down in my notes as we were talking. So
there's a forecasting tool there, and you said 20% growth. My guess is you're growing faster than that. And if you take your core KPIs and plug into that forecasting tool, it will tell you what your business will look like in the months ahead. It'll show it, month by month, a year out, or you can do year over year as well. But you throw your core KPIs in there, it's you've got a really good story here. And I'm kind of curious if, I made a note to myself, if I'd have thought about it, we would have plugged your numbers into that before we started, because I bet it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, so toolbox.maidcentral.com. You can create an account there. It's not linked to your MaidCentral account, but it is. You can plug in all of your, I'll add that here into the comments, actually. But you can add in all your core KPIs off of the core KPI report, and you just plug those numbers in. The red numbers match the red numbers, the green numbers match the green numbers, and the yellow numbers match the yellow numbers. And then what's great is that there's a forecasting tool on there. That's one that you'll want to be plugging your numbers in. And you can say, okay, these are the things that I'm not doing great at. So those numbers that we just talked about, those aren't the ones that you're going to be improving on, because you're already in the top couple of quartiles for those ones. But like payroll percent to revenue, or technician turnover, or I'm trying to think of, there's 12 of them. I should skip rate. Any of those ones, if those are the ones that you're like, man, those numbers are higher than I want them to be or lower than I want them to be, then you can just say, okay, well, what if I improved my skip rate by 5% and my technician turnover by 10%? And then we projected out not only a year, but I think 10 years is
Wow.
the final projection of that one. But it just kind of shows you that, yeah, if I improved these couple of numbers that I'm not doing, like these aren't my top ones yet, but that's where you see the biggest improvement are the ones that aren't your top ones. So yeah, definitely take a look at Toolbox.
Yes,
it
and
helps
that's
a
great
lot.
to know because, and I have noticed like we have been a little bit slower. We're just starting to pick up this week because our school didn't start until the mid-August. So usually about 2 weeks after school starts, it starts to pick up. But
yeah, everybody's like, what just happened?
Right. Like, oh, I can handle this myself. No, you can't. So, but I was looking at our numbers and we were still beating last year's revenue by far from having a really, really slow week. And I'm like, how did we make that much money? It's because of what I've been doing internally with scaling. So I'm pretty impressed with that. I really am. I mean, it's sometimes I get overwhelmed because I want to look at everything all at once, but I really enjoy going in and like the more I learn and the more updates that you guys make, it's great. I mean, it's to me, it's fun. And I recommend to you guys to everybody.
Good. We love it. We love what we do, and I hope that shows.
Yes, it does. It does. I mean, you by far have the best customer service off of any other software that I work with. Well, yeah, you guys are the best. You are the best. Yeah.
You had to think about somebody was close.
Somebody is close, but you guys have the open office hours every single day except for Friday and the quoting tool. So, I mean, that's priceless in itself. So you can go on and ask questions. I don't know if I didn't utilize it to a whole lot until recently. But sometimes I'll just come in if I have time and just listen because there might be something that will come up that I didn't think about or I forgot to ask. And so I'll be like, hey, and then it's great. I mean, it's educational.
Yeah, I think the best part about that is that we're here when we need us.
Yes.
Right. So like when you get caught up in something and we're not, you don't need to talk to a MaidCentral team member about it. You can work on your stuff. And then it's like, this question came up. Perfect. Guess what? There's a call in 2 hours. Like right. I'm going to go in and just ask them about that right now.
Yeah. I'm trying to get my office people, Melinda, my scheduler, she comes in occasionally, but I'm trying to get my office to utilize it more. And it's great because you have a human that can actually show you what you are talking about and you don't have to wait long for a response. And then I've had you guys sit support tickets on the weekend because I had an issue with QuickBooks that no cards were being charged. And, Amanda got back with me immediately. I mean, she even called me. So I was like, yeah, it was great.
We love Amanda. She's great.
I like her too. I like everybody. There's not anybody that I don't like on your team.
I know. I love our whole team, honestly. I think our whole team is just, we love what we do. And I think it shows.
I mean, Tom's a little iffy. I mean,
just Tom here.
What am I job
guy?
But no, it's great. I mean, like we're not going anywhere. I mean, I would recommend you guys to any cleaning business out there. It'll be great to see the things that I've heard on, some of the chats that are, I'm not going to talk about that here, that are in the works, but someday, but that's fine. At least they're on your radar. And if you can make them work, you will, which is great.
Yeah, I think that's the coolest part of what we do is that we have these little inklings of things behind us and they're like, ooh, maybe. And then as soon as we see a way to make it happen, it just happens.
That's great. I just love it.
It's great.
I really like the new search bar too, where you can just go in there right there and just, it's all there instead of having to toggle down to all the different ones. I love that.
I'll pass that along to our development team because they were very excited about that.
They were proud of that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of good things coming too. We're
it's always
be doing some a major facelift on the whole UI and reports, and it's going to be cool. So we're at the top of the hour.
And we did it.
That is where did the hour go? Ellie, you were so much fun. Thank you.
Oh, thanks. No problem. It was great talking to both of you, and have a great rest of your 4-day week.
Yeah, we appreciate you hopping on here and sharing your story because I'm going to have, what was it, 2 hags and a bag of rags?
2 hags and a bag of rags.
I'm glad you didn't go with that name.
That name is just gonna stick in my head. I'm gonna wait for. I'll let you know if somebody ever beats that name. For right now,
I have
you
an
guys keep
old
that
business
correct.
card. I have an old business card that I saved that's actually in a frame in the front of my office because that's where I got
That's cute.
my knowledge of how to clean houses, and then I just by accident, and it was true. So hit it right when COVID was, things were opening up, and it was like gravy train. And now I'm learning that it's a little bit different. 23 and 24 are, but
I bet you could still buy the domain name.
nah, yeah, I probably could, but I'm not going to.
Okay.
Just want to throw this out before we leave, but for anybody who missed it, MaidCentral Academy is returning to Charleston in September, end of September, September 25th through 27th. We highly recommend, if you haven't come to this, give it a go, because, or even if you have, if it's been over 18 months since you've come to this, over a year since you've come to this, come again. It really, really does help.
So, Ellie, thank you. Thanks so much. We're going to go ahead and call this a wrap, and we'll see you next time on MaidCentral Partner Profiles. And you're going to have to hit the end button.
Oh, there we go.